In this video, I'm going to go over the best outbound email strategy for B2B SaaS. And for that, I'm going to share my screen so that I can go through the 6 main pillars that I'm looking at in a bird's eye view, from a bird's eye view, so that you can actually follow, take notes, and then implement this stuff for yourself. If you don't know who I am, my name is John, and I run LeadArc together with my co-founder Leon. And we get qualified B2B sales demos for SaaS companies directly on their calendar, and they pay us only per book demo. And we've been blasting, I would say, over 10 million cold emails so far, booked thousands of demos, got crazy results for AirPay, which is a SaaS, where we got them 126 opportunities in the last 60 days, which is quite wild. This is very recent. Yeah, you can watch the entire thing as well, like first thing in the description. And we got this logistics SaaS case study where we got them 230 plus demos booked within the time span of 10 months. And within those 10 months, they also added $10 million in ARR to their business, which is quite wild. I'm not saying that we were the sole reason why they got that money, but we definitely contributed something with those 230 demos. Feel free to check out that page. But with that said, let's get straight into this video, just so you know that I'm not some random ass guy from the internet just talking shit. So I have notes for each of these points. I'll just go through them one by one, as convenient as possible. So infrastructure, right? We have a couple things that are super important when it comes to infrastructure, and I'll just go through them right now, which are domains, right? Inboxes, warm-ups, and sending limits, like art sending limits, right? These are super important things when it comes to infra, mainly because that's essentially your entire infrastructure. Arguably, you could also say like sending tool, right? But that's going to be instantly for email bison for you. That's pretty much the situation that we're in right now. Let me comment quickly what this means. So in any given scenario where you want to run outbound, especially email, you want to make sure that your domains are not blacklisted, they are not burned, they are not your subdomains, they are not from shady places, right? What you want to do is you want to go ahead and you want to get your inboxes and domains from, this is making it very hard for me right now, Scaled Mail, right? This is where you want to get your domains from. They make it very easy for you. Just type in scaledmail.com. I probably also have some like tool list in the description. Not quite sure. But get your domains and inboxes from Scaledmail, because that's going to make sure that everything has been set up correctly. Like we're talking about all the geeky stuff, like Deacon, DMARC, SPF, etc. Right? All of that stuff will already be set up for you. They will set up the inbox for you. No manual process at all. You will basically give them access to your sending tool and they will just put it in there. Done. Right? That's what you want to do. As for warm-ups, another plus point, they'll set them up for you as well, which is quite nice, right? So they will basically do all the annoying stuff for you. In terms of sending limits, super similar. They have recommended sending limits. I would also recommend the exact same that they are running, because we've been running cold email for our clients using Scaled Mail. It's working super well. Sending limits, just quickly, right, so that people actually get an answer on this. So we have Google inboxes. They have like 20 a day per inbox, and then we have Outlook as like 5 a day. That's pretty much it. With Outlook, you can have like more inbox, etc., but I'm going to get to that right now. In terms of domains and inboxes, for Google, you want to have 3 per, that's actually not a good idea. Let me just type it out. 3 inboxes per domain. With Outlook, I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually not up to date as to like what the current optimum is, because Scaled Mail keeps changing that, but I believe it's like 25 inboxes per domain. I think that was the case. Must be the case. Yes. And as you can notice, I'm not that big of a fan of like Outlook inboxes. I use Google only because it works very well. Like it works actually pretty well. And that's pretty much the 80-20 to infrastructure. Sending tool, if you can't get into email bison, you're going to use instantly. That's pretty much it, right? So this is infrastructure. Very simple. As you can see, there's going to be a bird's eye view. I just want to give you the rough strategy as to what you have to do, right? You need a proper infrastructure. Why? You need to land in the inbox. This is super important. People skip this step because like offers, lists, copy, all of that is like more exciting. I guess list is not that exciting. More people care about like offer and the copy. But let me tell you this, none of this stuff matters if this doesn't work. And I would also say, just by coincidence, I put them in the exact order of importance. Almost as if I prepared something. So, boom, offer, right? We have dealt with infrastructure. We're just going to make sure that we follow these steps and then we should be fine. Boom, done. Offer. We need a clear result with low risk for a cold prospect. In other words, right, benefits using mechanism with payment terms and a risk reversal. So a stranger has a hard time saying no to your offer. This is the offer, right? You need to nail this. You absolutely positively need to nail this. Like this is super important. And the offer is contingent of who you're going to email, right? So the list is super important. The copy will basically write itself as soon as you have the offer. But you want to make sure that your offer is specifically speaking to the people, for the people, about the people that you're going to email. If you do not do that, if you have a very, very, very vague offer and it's not like it's designed for everyone, you'll basically attract no one with that, right? It needs to be specifically purpose made for a specific type of business / person, a persona. Super important. I cannot overstate this. I'll probably say this like 10 times again. Like this is super, super, super important. You could run a successful cold email campaign just with these two things. Literally, because you could just email everyone and the only people that will respond are the people that want this offer. Because it's specifically purpose made for them, right? You just waste a lot of time emailing people that are not relevant, but that you would still get results. If you were emailing everyone with an offer that is designed for everyone, you would literally get no one to respond because no one feels addressed, right? We want to address people, which is also super important. We don't want to address the people. We want to address a person. It's one person, right? And the best cold emails that I've ran over all of those, like tens of millions of cold emails so far, the best ones are talking to a specific person. Way back in the beginning, almost 3 years ago now, I was writing cold emails as if I was talking to an audience. And the reason for that is, if you're in the weeds, and back then there was no AI. There was literally no AI. I think AI came out like I think a year after that. Might even be 1.5 years after that. Like AI was a thing after that. If you're in the weeds and you're building these Excel sheets and then you're like going through the prospects and you have like 1,000, 2,000 people in and then back then like 2,000 people was like crazy. We can email 2,000 people, wild. Now we're emailing like 5,000 people a day per client, which is super wild. But back then it was a huge thing, right? And thinking about like 2,000 people is wild because you're like, oh my God, this is so many people. I'm talking to people, like this is an audience, right? And as soon as you go through the motion and you sign up yourself into talking to an audience, you will literally write email copy to an audience, right? It's so close to saying, dear ladies and gentlemen, in your cold email, in the greeting, right? It's like this close to that. Most people aren't that far from using dear ladies and gentlemen, literally. Bro, I've seen emails. It's wild. It's not good. So this is why I'm saying this. This needs to be hyper-specific for a singular person, considering what kind of pain points they have, right? Solves pain or has a benefit that has a very specific mechanism with payment terms and a risk reversal that's going to reverse the risk that the person that you're emailing to is carrying on his or her shoulders if they were to say okay to your offer. Or like, let's go, like accept your offer, right? Not the general risk that you perceive, the risk that they perceive. This is super important. Like if you're in the process of like figuring out an offer that makes sense for your business, right? And even if you have product market fit, by the way, like this is still important, because if you were only running referral-based stuff or like content-based lead gen, this is super relevant because that offer will not work in cold email. It will just not work. Promise, it will not work. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. You need to solve a very specific pain using a very believable, like a mechanism that makes you solving that pain believable, with payment terms that are reasonable and a risk reversal that's going to reverse the perceived risk of that person. And by the way, sometimes perceived risks are not actual risks, like in the real world. People walk through life with filters, right? Based on their filters between what their eye sees and their brain comprehends or interprets. Between that, there are layers of filters, right? And they have multiple filters lined up. And you need to make sure that according to their perception, after the light has passed through those filters, that this specific perceived risk is being reversed. And there's no way you'll be able to do this unless your offer is specifically made for one persona, right? Do you see how this would be like impossible if you were trying to solve everyone's pain point? It would be impossible. You would not be able to do it. If you had multiple ICPs and multiple features and multiple pain points that you had to solve, right? With multiple perceived risks, I would literally, if I were to run your campaign, I would start one campaign per pain point, per mechanism, per ICP. We have a bunch of campaigns and a bunch of lead magnets as well to get these people to respond, which is why, still, this is super important. A stranger has no reason to believe you, and the only way to make them believe you is with the offer, because it's the only context that they will have when they receive your cold email. It's the only thing that they will see. Yes, you can have a brand. You can have a personal brand. They could Google your name. Yes, if they were to Google your domain, like the sending domain, and it would forward to your main domain, yes, also then they will be able to like get some more context. But we're talking about like millisecond decisions. Someone will read the email, maybe just skim over it, and if there's nothing, absolutely nothing that might be relevant to them, that might speak to them like a specific pain that they're having right now, if that doesn't happen, they will just archive your email. And you have archived emails today, probably in the dozens, right? So this goes for basically every human being on planet Earth. If it's not speaking to them directly, they will not feel addressed. And the best way to call someone out, even if you're in the busiest of subways in New York City, right? The best way to call out your husband, your spouse, right, is literally by their name. You'll not do it by shouting a lot, like, because everyone is shouting a lot, like, because New York is a simulation, like, it's just way too chaotic. But this is super important, which is why I've spent so much time on this specific point. We need to make sure that this is like a banger. And if you don't know how to like get this done, etc., and you want to have someone that can help you, right? You go into the first thing in the description. You could also directly go into the second thing in the description, because I want to click on here. We have a school community where we teach this stuff to almost 80 members now. And we have courses in there. You have direct access to me, and we'll go over your campaigns, your offers, etc. live with you on a weekly call. I'll hold the weekly calls. It's just like a chill hangout. Feel free to join. It's a 7-day free trial. You could join the next live call basically for free. So super important. But yeah, with that said, as soon as you have this, the next step is building your list. And to build your list, actually it's super simple. I mean, you have your ICP, right? So your ICP is gonna be like defined by the roles, the industry, obviously, and then like whatever else would define your ICP. Yeah, roles, industry, keywords, how would you call that? Like intent, right? Such as hiring, etc. Stuff like that would define your ICP. And you should know exactly who that is, because if you don't, this is going to be super hard to do. And this is going to be even harder to do, right? So your ICP is super important. It needs to match your offer needs to match your ICP. And then your ICP list has to be super, 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 super accurate. And we're talking at least like 75% accuracy on your list, right? This is just the list. And if I mean accurate, like by accuracy, I mean all the people in that list, that like list of 10,000 people, at least 7,500 of these people should be a perfect ICP fit. So you're not just wasting your time emailing this offer, which is made for the 7,500 people, to the remaining 2,500 or more people, because that would be like a waste of time. And the cool thing is with AI and the ability to analyze every single account's websites and their social media, it is super AI. So let me draw AI. This is an AI logo. So with AI, you could easily reach like, I'm currently getting like 95% times, because it's perfectly possible, right? You could actually do this. With AI, you could do this. Boom. Super important. We also teach how to do this in the school, as I've just mentioned. But yes, super important. Need this. Copy. Boom. Boom. Short, proof, offer, like your no-brainer offer. Make easy to say yes. This is pretty much your to-do list when writing your copy. And I could give you, as a gift of watching this video, I can give you my banger cold email script framework. So it's hey first name, and then we have relevant question about pain, right? If so, no-brainer offer, solving that pain, right? Proof, easy to say yes to CTA. Now let's go through this. So you could say, hey first name, are you currently looking to get more qualified demos for your sales reps? If so, we'll run cold email, or let me put it this way, we'll send demo videos to everyone in your ideal customer profile once every 30 days, explaining how your software helps them with their problem, right? You'll pay us per demo that we book. We helped AirPay get 126 leads using this exact method in the last 60 days. Can I send you a video breaking down the entire case study? Boom. Super easy to say yes to. And now you might be asking, well, I'll just send them a thing and then there will be no meeting. Like, where's the meeting? John, how do I book a demo from this, right? Good question. Very simple. You just have a sales process that's going to send the video, and then you're going to also call them, and then you will go through the entire appointment setting process where you will give them an incentive to jump on a meeting with you, a demo, so that you can actually show them how this will work. How do we do this, right? We ourselves, we basically say, yeah, we have this no-brainer offer. By the way, you get all of these crazy things. And if you book a strategy call, we'll go over an example campaign we will have drafted for you based on your ICP and offer. As soon as you approve, we can get started with onboarding. If you don't want to start, you'll get to keep the scripts and lists we've prepared. See you there. So we will have the scripts and lists ready. If they approve, we'll get started within 24 hours. If they pass, they can keep the scripts. The offer is a no-brainer. They book a strategy call, etc. Done. Right? This is how we do this. This is how we book meetings from cold email. It works. And there's a version of this for your offer. If you don't know how that works, etc. School, but I don't want to like plug my life away. So boom. That's basically that. Let me just boom. Testing. Let's also pull diagnose because that takes ages. Cool. Okay. Testing. So testing. Yes. So super simple. With testing, I mean script testing. And if I mean script testing, I mean offer plus copy, right? You're going to test a lot of different variations of your offer and copy. And if I say different variations, right? I'm not saying like use this specific email and then only like change the first relevant question, but the rest looks the same. And then you only change the offer description, and then the rest looks the same. And then you change only this, and then the rest looks the same, because that's what people usually tell you how split testing works. I don't believe in that. I believe in radical shifts in space and time. So you basically try the craziest split tests ever. Like you would sometimes only send one email with the full offer in there. You would sometimes only send the proof asking for the CTA. You would sometimes have the same base offer, but write it out in a completely different way, right? For example, we had one split test for ourselves where we literally, like, instead of having the paper call, etc., we just say, we'll get you 60 sales calls booked within, we'll get you 10 sales calls booked within the first 60 days, or you don't pay, something like that, or in exchange for a case study or something like that. I remember. It's like vastly different. The thing is, it's basically still our offer. It's just a very different way of actually articulating that, right? So this is how you should go about split testing. Don't make tiny word changes. It's not gonna help you at all. Like it's just not gonna work. It's just not gonna, like, no. Radical. We need to be more radical. Boom. Done. Diagnosis. This is super important. I'll just copy paste my notes that I have. Boom. We need to track replies. We need to track meetings. We need to track bounces. We need to track refill needs. So if we need to refill the the list that we made, right? Because we've just like blasted through it. We need to scale the winning copy, right? The winning combination from offer, copy, and optimally also ICP, right? But the offer already holds the ICP because you only make one offer per ICP. Bam. Super important. This is just to maintain the entire thing, just to see like are we improving, and if we are improving, how fast are we improving? Are we risking anything with the bounces, etc.? If you don't know what a bounce is, by the way, it's simply like you send an email to someone and then the email doesn't exist and then the email comes back to you. You bounce back, right? And if that happens a lot, it basically means you're emailing a lot of people that don't have an email address, which is super spammy behavior because only people that automate emails could land in this specific situation over and over again, which means that you're automating yourself, which will then burn away all of your domains. Cooked, right? This is how the stuff works. So, all in all, to summarize this, we're running this exactly as stated in here for our clients. And I found this to be the best outbound email strategy for B2B SaaS companies that we've ran. And if you're curious and you want to have this implemented for you, you go to the first link in the description, you book strategy call, you get the benefit of the scripts and the list that we will write out for you. And in the worst case, you'll keep the scripts and lists to run this stuff for yourself, or even join the school so I can teach you how to run it successfully. With that said, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.